stormy throughout the Dakotas. All kinds of wet weather moving into Texas. We'll continue to monitor Tropical Storm Bonnie and how it could affect somewhere along the southeastern coast. We'll watch that. High pressure not bad for Atlanta, for Knoxville, even for Virginia Beach. Pretty wet, though, eventually toward Minneapolis. Maybe could be seeing some strong storms before our day is over. Maybe wet, too, around Pittsburgh at times. Maybe as much as 6 inches of rain to fall in some parts of Texas. Pretty hefty amounts. Hefty heat.
They say it's getting stronger and could become the season's first hurricane. Tropical storm Charley, which is east-southeast of Corpus Christi, is moving toward the Gulf Coast of Texas and Louisiana.
Storms to rock our day a bit. Plan shopping or golf. Be careful. You could deal with a bit of this throughout the day. Temperatures not changing around Lake Michigan, around Lakeshore Drive there. 65 toward the Cape. Into southern parts of Florida, about 88. Pretty windy. Very windy, very dangerous in the 25-mile-an-hour or greater category. Into parts of Texas, 81 to South Texas, water temp 2, 69 to southern parts of California. Affect us a lot. I've been seeing some rain in towards San Antonio. It's faded away now. But right here, including around Houston, need to be taking precautions for all the wet weather moving our way. But Texas, many heavy amounts too into parts of the Dakotas. All right, here's the current map with a number of problem spots, including the Dakotas. We'll discuss this in greater detail, talk more about the storms we're dealing with here tonight. Some have been severe parameters at times. We'll discuss your forecast, too.
Good morning. Welcome to Storm Watch. I'm Kim Perez. We're going to talk about a little severe weather going on in the northern plains, but first we're going to talk about the tropics. And we do have a tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico. Also, we have a hurricane now near the Bahamas that we'll take a look at too. And also, I guess, the Eastern Pacific. We'll check it out. Well, here is the tropical storm warnings that are out from Cameron, Louisiana, all the way down to Brownsville tonight. And we have been seeing, some heavy rainfall all around this area right in here. But as far as from Houston northward up to Cameron, it hasn't been that impressive. But we still have tropical storm warnings out for this area, so small craft should definitely be staying in. You shouldn't be heading out at all. Here's the particulars on it. The 1 a.m. Central Daylight Time advisory moving northwest at 9 miles per hour. Now the winds are at 50 miles per hour, so it has come up a little bit, and pressure has dropped to about 1,003 millibars at this point. It's about 50 miles southeast of Port Aransas, Texas. And if you calculate between 9 miles per hour and about 50 miles off the coast, you come up with what, maybe 5.5 to 6 hours. We could be seeing landfall here if it continues on this track and at this forward speed. Now, next advisory should be coming out at 5 a.m. Eastern time, so it's a couple hours away. As you can see, a lot of the heavy rain has already made it on shore. I guess the center is actually a little bit farther south. The center at the surface, anyway, is a little bit farther south than where all the convection is occurring. And we have seen heavy rainfall, and even the potential exists for tornadoes in this area. Now, as you can see, kind of the big picture here, kind of a compact system, not really outside of this area. There is no rainfall at all occurring here, but where it is coming down, it is coming down hard, and we could expect up to 8 inches of rain in some cases here. So, again, remember, flash flood watches are out for this area. The potential exists for isolated tornadoes whenever you have a tropical system coming inshore with the bands. So we do have a tornado warning out for Calhoun County at this time. You should be seeking shelter, interior room, lowest level of your house, and try to protect your head if possible. So that is another big threat here. And the tides should be up maybe 4 to 6 feet, astronomical, plus the tropical storm coming onshore. So for sure, the northern side of our storm, we're going to have the onshore winds is where we're going to see the big flooding problems here. All right, that is it for Tropical Storm Charley. Again, it should be making landfall here in the morning, and as it does, it'll move westward across Texas. So folks in San Antonio, you'll be getting some heavy rainfall here later on tomorrow, or today. Now, let's talk about Hurricane Bonnie. Yes, it is a hurricane. If you have not been watching, it has been upgraded. Hurricane hunters have been out there investigating and found an eye, plus found winds at 75 miles per hour, which makes it a minimal hurricane at this point. So it is intensifying, and the forecast is for it to continue to intensify. Pressure is about 987 millibars. It's 150 miles east of the Turks Island. So warnings are out for Turks and the Caicos Islands and the southeastern Bahamas, and watches are out for the central Bahamas, but it's likely that these watches will be changed to warnings for Saturday afternoon. So if you live in the central Bahamas, you're watching us from there, or if you're traveling to the Bahamas, you probably will not be able to make it very far. Hurricane warnings probably will be issued in your area tomorrow. If you can, hurry with your safety preparations because you do have a little bit of time left, but not too much time. Here it is on our infrared shot. And again, so I apologize for this. They changed the satellite on us here in the last shot, the position of it. But around where you see the deep convection, the red, that is where the center of the hurricane is, and showing very good outflow in the northern quadrant, and also showing some decent outflow here in the southeastern quadrant of the hurricane. And the Bahamas, let's see if I can, it's hard to show you when the image keeps switching around, but here's Hispaniola, Cuba, and the Bahamas lie right in this area here. So you will be under the gun with this hurricane. And again, it's forecast to intensify. And if you live on the East Coast, you want to be paying close attention to this from Florida all the way up to New England as we continue to monitor Hurricane Bonnie. Here it is on our radar. You can see some of the bands here, but it looks like the heaviest stuff is away from Puerto Rico at this point as the center continues on that west-northwesterly track. Farther east, another tropical wave. I kind of moved past this one pretty quickly, but this might be a tropical depression. We'll have to keep an eye on. Quickly, Hurricane Howard moving west-northwest at 13 in the eastern Pacific.
Now those fantastic restaurant onion creations can be made right in your own home. Introducing the Great American Steakhouse Onion Machine. It's easy, it's fun, and it's oh so onion delicious. Don't confuse the Steakhouse Onion Machine with those hard-to-use plastic gadgets that only do small onions. You start with a nice large onion, trim and clean, then remove the center. Place the onion under the stainless steel blades of your Steakhouse Onion Machine and push down. You'll have a perfect onion creation. Just dip it and cook it in oil or bake it in the oven. In no time, your onion is golden brown delicious, just like they serve it in the restaurant. It's a special treat for the kids and great for your own parties. Call now and get this deep frying basket and colorful recipe book. It's only $19.99. So order your Great American Steakhouse Onion Machine now.
To order the onion machine for only $19.99 plus shipping, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-482-5577.
And along with Rick Griffin on this rather active weather morning, we're going to talk about, once again, in southeastern Texas, Charley, heavy rainfall. We've got some active weather developing across the Dakotas this morning, severe weather there. And also we have to talk about Hurricane Bonnie as well. We've got hurricane warnings right now for the southeastern Bahamas. So welcome again to this edition of Weather Center, which is sponsored by Mitsubishi.
A lot to talk about this morning, and just in, a tornado warning now for Brazoria and Fort Bend counties in southeastern Texas. Those are counties just southwest of Houston. There's some big storms with the rain bands swirling around Tropical Storm Charley, making the track very close to the coastline right now. Let's get the latest on our tropical scenario this morning, which, as Will mentioned, is very active. Tropical storm warnings. Let's start with that. They're in effect this morning from Brownsville, Texas to Sabine Pass, essentially the entire Texas Gulf Coast. Latest update on Charley includes a strengthening system now that it is just about to make landfall, so little further strengthening is anticipated, but top sustained winds have increased to 60 now as the storm center of circulation, let's say, is 25 miles east-southeast of Port Aransas, Texas, at 27.8 north and 96.8 west. Charley is moving northwest at 10, and the central pressure now 1,003 millibars. We've colorized the satellite picture for you, and it shows Charley, a well-defined tropical storm, getting set to move inland this morning, very close to Port Aransas, Texas, just north of Corpus Christi. Radar shows a pretty good area of rainfall, some of it very heavy, 2 to 3 inches per hour in Aransas County, for instance, and on the northeast edge of the precipitation shield, this is where some fairly good-sized thunderstorms are being reported, and the counties of Freeport and, Brazoria County, right here southwest of Houston, a tornado warning is in effect. That tornado was near Arcola, Texas, and the storm potentially producing it as it was indicated by Doppler radar, moving off to the northwest at 25 miles per hour. Once again, the center of Charley right about in here, about 20 to 25 miles offshore, making steady progress towards the coastline now. One of the major impacts of Charley in Texas will be the heavy rainfall, and despite the fact that it has been an exceedingly dry summer, flash flooding. could take place in the southern half of the Lone Star State, as well as southern sections of Louisiana, because the rain will come down very quickly and will run off because of the sun-baked soil conditions in many locations. In other words, not a steady rain that's soaked up gradually, but 2 to 3 inches per hour, and rainfall totals of 6 to 8 inches are likely over parts of South Texas near the track of Charley. From Charley, we go to now Hurricane Bonnie, 22.1 north, 69.4 west, top sustained winds 75 miles per hour. Bonnie moving west-northwest at 17. We've had an update in the warnings. Hurricane warnings now in effect for the Turks and the Caicos Islands, as well as the southeast and now the central Bahamas. Bonnie, again, a fairly well-organized system right now and becoming more so with time. And even though no eye is evident on our colorized satellite picture, apparently the reconnaissance aircraft did find one as they made the last pass through the system. And we'll have more information from the hurricane hunters later on this morning as they fly back into Hurricane Bonnie. Now, where is Bonnie going to go? That's still a question mark. And the